long as you have the money.
I'd like to see what kind of medicine you're selling.
A ver, y vuelto. Vamos a comprar un poquito de todo. Ya no me da el dinero para más. A ver, si el balcón tiene algún agujero por algún lado. No. Pero en el tejado... no. No sé si se había visto un circulillo, pero no. Me engañó la perspectiva. ¿Cómo investigo? Toque de queda de 9 a no sé qué. Vale.
I cannot enter.
Vale, la puerta no se abrirá de este lado, pero como pasó al otro lado, sí, por ninguna de las puertas puede. Tiene que ser desde el interior de la casa. Pero si el bobo este le toco la puerta y me hace caso omiso...
Nobody at home. There's no one in.
La casa está vacía, mentira. A ver, ahí, ¿qué se ve? Un palé, como quien dice. Sí, tiene que haber alguna cosa con la que se pueda acceder ahí. Tiene que ser por aquí, por nariz. Pero ¿cómo? ¿Ese puente? Si me tiro del puente abajo. Ah, pero no te deja tampoco. ¿Y ese puente qué puente es?
It's locked, all right.
When science fails you, this elixir...
Se avanza por aquí o algo de eso. Porque aquí baja. Uy, mira. ¿Cómo se puede escuchar desde
It's
aquí?
locked.
No me deja. Y ahí hay peña.
cannot enter.
Está ahí, ya la vi, pero ¿cómo accedo? Madre, qué mareo. Por Dios.
Turn around, sir. Are you bloody stupid? Bloody monster!
Que este me han pegado. Vale, vale. Acabas de desperdiciar la garra. Y encima ahora te meto una hostia de fuego. A ver. Cuarentena, gripe. No se acerquen a esta zona por decreto de la salud de... Cuarentena. Enfermedad contagiosa. Nadie puede entrar o salir de la zona. Cuarentena sin presentar un permiso escrito emitido por las autoridades sanitarias locales. Vale.
It's locked, all right.
Un momentín. A ver. Que estoy dando vueltas aquí y no hay manera de que se me encienda la bombilla de cómo puedo pasar, porque si dice que necesito un papel, vamos a ver, debería a lo mejor ir al hospital que el tipo este me lo haga. Vamos a ver aquí con la peña.
Come on, we can sort it out. Welcome, sir. Please take a browse of my wares.
I'm Dr. Reed. I would like to ask you a few
Quitas orejas,
questions if you
mijito.
don't mind.
Este estuvo llevando la
Doctor?
mascarilla, seguro.
Interesting. I'm Barrett Lewis. Usually I don't have time to waste with talk, but at this hour of the night I can hardly refuse.
Oiga, que con este nunca he hablado, ahora hay que hacerle todo el interrogatorio.
Business? I have no business. Between this racket, theft, and customers getting scared, I'm losing money every day.
I see. Sounds like you blame someone in particular for your situation.
It's no secret Joe Peterson spends his time harassing merchants. But with me, he's trying to put me out of business once and for all.
As a merchant, you see Whitechapel every day. Have you noticed anything out of the ordinary recently?
What you mean besides the epidemic, the war, and all the usual crap? As long as I can remember, this...
Mira, a lo mejor es lo que necesitabas hablar con la peña para averiguar por dónde entrar.
A few nights ago, some blokes jumped me. Came out of one of the condemned workshops. Fever, madness, something like that.
Where did this happen? Why did you go there?
In the closed workshops nearby. I worked there as an apprentice in better days. Now I only go to find trinkets or tools. Too bad I was mugged, though. There was good money in that little box of loot I lost.
Have you been hurt?
No, but that's only because I ran like hell. Those men were raving lunatics, I tell you. Not even able to speak anymore, just screaming.
Have you heard of a nurse called Dorothy Crane?
Nurse Crane? So the bitch really is a nurse, then? Always thought she was just some crafty foreigner, that one.
Yes, she's a nurse, and quite a good one. What did she do to gain such notoriety?
Dorothy Crane ain't even a real name. Something like Dorothea Craniu. Something like that. Came to England fleeing the war, I was told.
That doesn't explain why she irritates you so much.
Your precious Nurse Crane gives away medical supplies and prescriptions for free. I offered to sell it for a fair cut, but no. Miss Crane wanted to play the
Qué
quiet
fuerte.
saint.
Right then.
Vamos a ver
Show me
lo que
what
vende
you
el
have.
chavalín este. Orejas de Dumbo este. Vale. Vende cosas interesantes, pero no tengo platica. Señorita Carlata, espéreme.
Fancy buying something, sir?
You
Okay.
never lose your focus.
Para detrás apareció un tío.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Lewis.
¿Y con quién estaba hablando antes? Ah, con aquí.
Excuse me, sir. I have a few questions for you.
Another journalist? I didn't answer the first one, so piss off!
I'm not a journalist, I'm a doctor.
A doctor, you say? It's quite a rare breed in this part of town.
Really? But still, here I am. Dr. Jonathan Reed, at your service.
I'm Joe Peterson to some, but Colossus Joe to most. And I don't remember asking for your service, sir.
May I ask what you do around here?
I do whatever I want, and sometimes even more. Now sod off.
Malcriado.
According to you, physicians are scarce in this part of town. Why is that?
Not familiar with this neighborhood, are you? I guess your fancy colleagues are too afraid of being stabbed in the back.
This part of town does have quite a reputation. Would you say it's justified?
Totally. Look at me, for instance. I always look my opponent in the eye before knocking him out.
How did you become the local bully everyone is afraid of, Joe?
There's no pro bastards. But this is the only job I've found. And it pays well, too.
A job? So you're racketeering for someone else?
I got enlisted by the Wet Boot Boys, a gang from the docks. I'm their muscle for their dirty work.
Most people don't become thugs when unemployed. This is a choice you made.
I don't care what you think, sir. I do what I have to do for my own reasons. And that's that.
I'm not sure Mr. Lewis would agree with your by all means necessary philosophy, sir.
Oh, do you really think he's the poor victim here? Barrett can be as sneaky as anyone. Long ago, I even called the bastard my best friend.
Vale, pues... Ah, sí,
Have you heard of a nurse named Dorothy Crane? She's a colleague of mine, and is supposed to live around here.
Dorothy Crane? Yeah, I know her. One of the few good souls who dare to help the sick around here.
Could you please tell me more about her?
She's a nice girl. Tries to help the migrants. I offered to give her a hand, but she said my reputation would attract too much attention.
Goodbye, Mr. Peterson.
No civilians allowed, sir. Are you
Este
stupid?
tiene Bombardeo de ese y ahí hay uno. Y aquí, pero muchachos, yo no he hecho nada aquí. Y ya vienes a dar por culo. Abusadores. 3 contra 1, encima con uno con una pistola, el otro con un eso. Así no se puede, señores. A ver, que yo vengo aquí pacíficamente y ya me vienen atacando. Pero corre para allí, chiquillo. Que se ponen esa cosa verde que no se lo pesa, por otra parte. Pero no creo que sea nada bueno. Vale, ahora sí. A esto ya me gusta más. Ok, yo ahora aquí me alejo. A ver si llegan los minutos para... Ah, pierda. Lo paralizamos, nos acercamos, le hacemos un garrita, un golpito por aquí, un golpito por allá, un golpito por aquí, carrita, otro golpito por aquí, otro golpito por allá y listo. Ahora sí. Hay que hacer una buena estrategia militar. Vale, por aquí no tengo nada para robar. Aquí sí. Por aquí había como un cuarto o algo así. ¡Uy! Vale. Vamos a curarnos. Vale, aquí hay un coche en medio, no podemos hacer nada. ¡Opa! Ah, por aquí había estado yo antes, lo que había venido por el otro lado. ¡Paralízate! ¡Opa! Recupera fuerza. Un garrito, por favor. Listo. Le estoy cogiendo el tranquillo. Sí, yo había venido por aquí. Aunque antes había venido por aquí por arriba. Y cuando bajé fue que me mataron. Y ya para allá me desubiqué. Vale, otro mero. Sí, por aquí ya hemos estado. Y no se puede saltar de aquí a allí. Ay, pues no. Muma, muma. No hay otro tipo de salida por acá. Ah, sí, mira aquí. Pero ¿de qué lado va? ¿Al que yo quiero o no? O cuatro animales. Para mí. Ahí, pero vamos cogiendo el tranquillito para que no nos maten las bestias. Vale, y aquí vinimos a dar a donde antes, ¿no? ¿O no? Que estoy más perdida. A ver, porque ahora se metió ahí detrás, como para atacarlo. Venga, pita, pita, pita. Salta para afuera. Excuse me. A ver, es que las misiones otras que tengo deberían de salir aquí marcadas como algún... Pues nada, gente, yo creo que voy a terminar el directo y cuando ya solucione esto, pues volveremos, porque si no vamos a estar todo el rato dando vueltas aquí en lo mismo, ¿verdad?
Forgive my interruption.
Do not apologize, my son. Father Tobias Whitaker is always happy to teach mortals about the incoming Armageddon.
Bueno,
I am Dr. Jonathan
mortal.
Reed, and I just have a few questions.
A scientist? You are much more lost than I thought, my son.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital?
Crane.
I'd like to know more about her.
I don't like the liberal ideas of nurses, but I especially abhor that Nurse Crane you mentioned.
So, you're not exactly a fan of Florence Nightingale's work. But nurses are essential for modern healthcare.
Nuns should be the only women allowed to take care of male patients. It's obvious only they have the necessary moral fiber.
Why do you hate Nurse Crane more than other nurses?
Before coming to London, she was a member of the communist resistance in our country. That's what happens when you let a woman get involved in politics.
What do you mean when you say that I am more lost than you thought?
All scientists are entangled in a world of causes and consequences, and most of them can't see the plain truth.
Quite a judgmental opinion, if you ask me. But what do I know? Blinded by science as I am.
But you are seeking answers, aren't you? Answers about the Armageddon about to strike the city. Answers about the hidden truth.
I am. But the answers I seek are based on facts, not superstition. What do you mean when you say that I am more
A ver,
lost than you
creo que no
thought?
me deja
All
otra vez elegir el
scientists are
mismo.
entangled in a world of
Tenía que haber
causes
elegido
and
el otro. A ver qué
consequences.
rollo me
And
soltaba.
most of them can't see the plain truth.
Quite a judgmental opinion, if you ask me. But what do I know? Blinded by science as I am.
But you are seeking answers, aren't you? Answers about the Armageddon about to strike the city. Answers about the hidden truth.
Well, I suppose I can spare a few minutes listening to your so-called truth.
As a doctor, you must be aware of the decimating epidemic. But let me tell you that this so-called Spanish flu is just the beginning of the end.
What do you mean?
The beast is finally revealing itself, corrupting the flesh and the heart of men.
Really? And what would be your answer to this biblical threat?
We must fight the disease before this legion outnumbers us. But not with scalpels and microscopes. No.
What is left then?
Cleansing fire.
Vamos a prenderle fuego a toda la ciudad, venga.
What do you mean when you say that I am more lost than you think?
Ay, mierda, le volví a dar el
Scientists are
mismo.
entangled in a world of causes and consequences. And most of them can't see the plain truth.
Quite a judgmental opinion, if you ask me. But what do I know? Blinded by science as I am.
But you are seeking answers, aren't you? Answers about the Armageddon about to strike the city. Answers about the hidden truth.
No. Salte para atrás. Ay, no puedo salir para atrás.
I am.
Me va a
But the
estar
answers
escuchando
I
toda la
seek are based
perga
on
otra vez.
facts, not superstition.
Sí, venga.
Tell me, Tobias, what exactly is your plan concerning the cleansing of this city?
Hacemos una
God
fogata
will
aquí.
recognize his own. More than once this city has risen from the ashes, hardened and purified by the flames.
Pero que es un pirómano.
Purification by fire has proved useful, but where do you stop? Burn the clothes? The buildings? The corpses? Worse?
Your lack of faith is predictable. But my task is to convince rational minds like yours to see the light. This is God's will.
You're mad and dangerous. You're nothing but a soulless butcher. A
Exacto.
small-time Torquemada. The Savonarola of Whitechapel.
My son, if you think salvation is a free gift, go listen to the lies of that pompous fool, Joseph.
Joseph, a fool.
Vicar Larrabee of St. Mary's Church. While he continues preaching his fraudulent redemption,
Chiquita,
more and more people die
nariz le
in the
hacen a las
streets.
ahí a los.
Have you any friends? Any family left in these terrible times?
No. But I have a disciple I see as my son. He is so devoted. I sent him to preach the good word in the heart
Uy,
of
¿dónde es el
this
origen?
corrupting city.
¿Dónde lo envió?
Where did you send him?
I sent Samuel to the Stonebridge Cemetery, where the pestilence and evil grows night after night.
You sent him on some preaching crusade during the epidemic.
As a true believer, Samuel will fear no evil while he walks through the valley of the shadow of death.
Hola, mi cuati. A ver,
Don't you
porque este
fear
tiene que
getting
estar.
sick yourself?
I've been touched by God's grace. I am perfectly healthy.
Ya, no
I
lo
have
puedo
had enough
cautivar.
for tonight. Goodbye.
Que le falta un tornillo, pero vamos. ¡Escalpelo, escalpelo! ¡Ole! ¡Ay, ay, ay! ¡Que me han matado! ¡Qué fallo más grande! Venga, hombre. El sufrimiento forma parte de la condición inmortal y el dolor jamás desaparece. A ver, a mover la colita. ¿Dónde está esta gente? Llegó primero el comentario que salieras como conectado. No mames, güey. Me estás aruñando, chico. Y no tengo sangre para hacer la garra ni nada de eso. Mal asunto. Garra. A ver, a coger sangre por aquí, va. Así no se puede. Cúrate, mijitico. Vale. Vamos a mirar el cuerpo este. Una pitillera. ¿Ves? Es que el juego está basado en la actualidad, básicamente. Quédate en tu puta casa. ¿Este es el cementerio? Supone que aquí estará el chaval. A ver. ¿Chavalín? ¿Sos vos?
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I would like to ask you
Una
a few
peli de
questions.
vampiros.
Please be my guest. Although I may
¿Cómo
not
se
be the
llama?
best informant regarding this part of town, my words speak about that which the eyes cannot see.
Really? Are you an artist of some kind?
I'm a poet, sir. Richard Nethercott, at your service.
May I ask what you're
¿Quieres ver
doing
una
this
película de vampiros? Vete a las
Do you live
clásicas.
Not at all. I'm just
A
enjoying
la
the
reina de
pleasure
los
of a quiet
condenados.
walk. Although night talks are always
¿Cómo
preferable,
se llama?
if you ask
Entrevista
me,
con el vampiro.
especially with strangers.
But are you not afraid of the epidemic?
Oh, why should I? I see some equity in the Spanish flu. No flesh should be saved, say the scriptures. Good or evil, rich or poor, all are equal in the eyes of the flu.
If you say so. But as a physician in a time
Qué
of
raro que por la
epidemic,
tele ve
I must
estrenando una
caution you
película
to
y
avoid
no chismorreos por todos
unnecessary
lados.
exposure, sir.
Thank you, Doctor. But we both know the seeker of truth has to go boldly where the weak dare not.
Are you aware that your life could be in danger in this part of town?
But this is where I must be to feel the real beat of the city. I had to come, see it for myself, alone.
I understand your need for solitude, but it's not safe around here.
I don't care. I don't have many friends, Doctor, and my family despises me.
If some misfortune came upon you, who would be here to help you?
Well, you for a start, my dear Doctor.
Y que te yo me
What
voy
are
a quedar
your
para
thoughts
ayudarte,
on the terrible situation in this city?
Terrible, you say? No. Of course, Death of so many innocents is a tragedy, but the scourge has not been all bad for the city. Oh, no, sir.
What are you talking about?
Do you remember London before the flu? Noisy, cacophonic, quiet nowhere to be found. And now, listen to this oddly peaceful silence.
Yes. The enjoyable silence of the grave. You have a unique perspective on the situation, I must admit.
Most people fail to understand my perspective. I don't blame them. But how could I call myself a poet if I veiled my feelings?
Tell me, Mr. Nethercott, why seek inspiration in Whitechapel?
The place is not beautiful per se, but how to explain it? Stirring and challenging.
Do you not think it a little morbid?
On the contrary, sir. Whitechapel is full of life, full of beauty. Just like my dear muse, the wonderful Camellia.
What can you tell me about Camellia?
Not much. And that's the beauty of it. She can't speak, you know. She's a locked mystery who exhales kindness and sweetness.
Ya se está yendo el baile.
Perhaps you're just afraid to find out the truth about your muse.
One day, perhaps, I'll ask her to come with me.
Valhensi siglo XIX.
Will she still be my wild flower of
Esa no sé si la he visto yo ya, la verdad. Por el título me suena, pero como hay tantas películas de Valhensi.
Where she lives, how she survives, whom she may know.
Maybe I prefer she remains an enigma. Reality can be so dull, don't you think? And the arid hunger under the rain.
If you say so.
Such vibrant antagonism and vivid paradox. The stripped humanity raged across each street.
Vivid, of course, yes. And what about the poignant distress?
Oh yes, the poignant distress. You see what I mean, don't you? That's what I want to write about. And that's what Whitechapel is made of.
¿Anterior? Ah, esa también, esa sí la he visto, esa sí estoy segura que la he visto. Pero esa de Van Helsing no sé, porque te digo, como hay tantas pelis de Van Helsing, por el título no estoy segura, me suena que sí, pero... Que también te digo que de Hansel y Gretel hay unas cuantas también, hay como 2 o 3. ¿Este quién es?
Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reed. I'd like to ask you a few questions.
La famosa Camila.
I know what you're thinking. A tall stranger who meets a girl in the street at night. It reeks of the penny dreadfuls. But I mean you no harm, truly.
Chaval, que te dijo...
Camellia, I know you work for Dorothy Crane. Please tell me
Que
about
te dijo el tío que no hablaba.
dispensary.
¿Cómo lo vas a investigar?
A stubborn and mute comrade. Nurse Crane and Darius Petrescu have been...
Interrogaré una muda, a ver.
I know you understand what I'm saying. Your silence has nothing to do with you being mute, does it? Tell me about Richard Nethercott. I understand he is quite fond of you, Camellia.
Que no te va a responder, chaval.
Very well. Goodbye then.
No, espérate.
Hello again, miss.
Que esta no se queda. Hay que hacerle
Don't
una
seem to
revisión
need my
médica.
medical attention for now.
No, está sana.
Very well.
Entonces simplemente...
Goodbye then.
Un pequeño ramo con cupón para revisión médica gratuita oculto entre las flores. Oh, qué bonito el expositor de esa tienda. A ver, porque por ahí me había uno disparado. Y el Johnny me ha prometido que el carajo, que yo contigo no estaba peleando. Déjenme saltarme el agua. A ver, ¿dónde estoy? Aquí abajo en el canto de los infiernos. Ay, que me matan. Ay, me mataron, hostias. Sí, pero esa de Alien Covenant no tiene mucho... O sea, que van a hacer maratón de Halloween en 4, ¿no? No me hace falta que me leas toda la cartelera, que yo no la voy a ver. Un ciego y nunca vio, se llamaba Casimiro y vivía a buena vista. Ah, mira, por el güey... no, es lo mismo. Si seguimos las flores.
It's locked.
Most of them don't speak English. How am I supposed to interview them?
Clayton. Me suena el
Excuse
Clayton.
me, sir. Are you familiar with this part of town? Name's Clayton Darby, reporter.
Sorry, I'm new to Whitechapel. But perhaps you could help me since you're a journalist. My name is Jonathan Reed.
Dr. Reed, the famous surgeon.
Jonathan Reed.
I'll gladly help if I'm able, sir.
Do you need assistance?
That would be nice of you, Doctor. Who knows what I may have caught during my investigation.
Venga, te vamos a dar un remedio.
If you persist in investigating the most pox-ridden boroughs of London, you must accept the risks.
Thank you, sir.
What is a journalist doing in this borough after sunset?
He goes where none of his colleagues would dare to go, to inform the country.
So you risk your life to reveal the truth. I saw many reporters do the same during the war.
Whitechapel is the crucible of so many untold stories and tragedies. I want people to know them.
That's quite honorable of you. But is the public interested?
Not at all, sir. And that's why I'm an independent journalist, hoping to sell some stories.
Why are the newspapers keeping silent about the Spanish influenza? It's as though none of you care.
There's a war going on. People shouldn't be demoralized by news of deadly diseases.
It's a disgrace. People are left to die alone. No one is properly informed of the risks.
These are bad times indeed. So much for the glorious British Empire.
Have you any idea of the danger you face in these streets at night?
I've had to run and hide more than once from frenzied mobs incensed by the fever. Do you think the flu is really responsible for this, Doctor?
I must confess, some of my rational views have been shaken by recent events.
I'll remember to stay away from the district's roughest streets then.
Goodbye, Mr. Darby. Farewell.
You look so pale, my lord. Would you like me to... Don't be shy, handsome. What can Christina do for you?
I'm not looking for what you're selling. But I'd like to ask you a few questions, if I may. I'm a doctor. Dr. Reed.
All right then, but be quick. Though I usually get paid when I open my mouth.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? Anything you can tell me about her would be helpful.
I don't know her, but I know her name is Dorothea Crăciunescu. She came from Romania like me and many others.
You seem to respect her.
Dorothea helps the sick people of Whitechapel. Everyone should respect that.
Christina, have you been examined? The epidemic is spreading fast in London, and you could be exposed. Or expose others.
I don't like doctors or hospitals, but I don't like you asking questions.
Considering your line of work, I assure you it is only a matter of time before you have health issues.
If it is going to happen, it will happen. Right now, I need money. That's what's important.
You can put your own life in danger, that's your decision. But what about your clients? If you're contaminated, you will put them in danger too.
And you think that would worry me? If you knew the men I deal with, their health would not be what you'd worry about.
Clayton Darby claims he will expose the crisis in Whitechapel to all of London. Do you believe him?
I believe Clayton's courage will erode with time, until he finally leaves Whitechapel to start another fight somewhere else.
Why this skepticism?
How can you speak about starvation if you've never been hungry? Or about poverty? Or anything else you have never suffered from?
Are you talking from experience?
I've seen your type come here to get a good fuck in a cheap room or a dark alley before going back to their fancy houses in the West End.
Tell me about yourself.
Are you joking with me? People don't usually come to see me for conversation.
I have no interest in your work. I am, however, curious as to what led you into this career.
Short story. The war, exile, and England. This country is not especially welcoming. I've been refused many jobs because of where I am from. I had few options left.
I always thought I was the master of my own fate. But now I know we don't always have control over our lives. I don't judge you.
You know, this money is not only for me. I have good reasons to need this money quickly.
Goodbye, miss. Take care of yourself as best you can.
evidence and trickery. You are
Morbidity can breathe its own beauty and grace.
Stupid beast! Back, demon! Back! Take a breath of this! Away!